Hey, it's Professor Shoemaker. I'm going to demo in this short video the rank, large, and small functions. I'm working in the analyzing list of data worksheet, and this is sort of a companion to the PowerPoints that I have. So, what we have here is a table of all the states in the Union and sales numbers for each state, and they vary. So what we're going to do, what we want to understand is which state had the largest sales, which had the smallest, and where were all the other states in between. So I'm going to come in here and type rank, and notice when I do, I get three choices here. What I want is rank EQ. Notice that the rank function down here has a little yellow flag by it. That says this function is available for compatibility with Excel 2007 and earlier. That means it's an old function, it's not supported, you shouldn't use it, but it's there in case you happen to have an old spreadsheet that's using it. We want rank EQ. So this returns the rank of a number in a list of numbers. You know, sometimes these descriptions in Excel are not all that good. Let's just plug it in and give it a try. So the first thing is the number. That is the number we want to find the rank of, and that will be Alabama here. So we want to find out where Alabama stands in the list of all the rest. The next argument, the ref, is the list, and I wish they had just called it list, but they don't. So I'm going to come on over here for the next argument and drag down here to select the entire list. Now, move it up. I want to take this function when I get done with it and copy it all the way down the column. So in order to do that, I need the reference to the list to be absolutes, because well, let's try it without and we'll see what happens. I'll do this and hit enter, and what that says is Alabama ranks 40th of all the states. Let's slide this down the column a little ways, and you'll see that we begin to get into trouble with this function. First of all, we're getting alerts here, and the alert is formula omits adjacent cells. Well, okay, let's see what it does. I can click up here to see where the red span is, and notice it's leaving out the first cell. And almost worse than that, at the very bottom, it's going off the bottom of the list. That's because the C7:C56 is a relative reference. It started out here as C6:C55, and as we slide it down the column, it gets worse and worse. Now it's only picking up from Florida going on down, and it sticks way off the end of the list at the bottom. So what we need to do is convert this function up here, this reference, into an absolute reference instead of relative. So I'm going to highlight it, press F4, get dollar signs around everything, and then hit enter. Now I need to copy it down the column, and there's a trick in Excel. When you have a column like this, and you're going to have the same formula all the way down, instead of dragging it down, you can actually come here on the size box and double click on it, and it will copy it all the way to the bottom of the list for you. Now we don't have any alert flags. Everything refers to C56 to C55, which is what we want, all the way down to Wyoming, and so on. And now we can look at this and see that, well, what do we got here? Kentucky is second. What state's first? New Jersey is first. And which state that had the highest sales of all at 143,000? Where's number 50? Well, I'm not going to spend a lot of time looking for it. Oh, there it is. Idaho had the smallest amount of sales of all the states. It's ranking 50th. So it's very easy to just plug in a function like this, type it in one cell, get your absolute references set up, and then propagate it down the list. Now, something I didn't mention when I first did it was there's a third argument to this, and it has square brackets around it. That means the argument's optional. You don't actually have to supply it. But in this class, unless I tell you otherwise, you should always supply optional arguments. Let's hit a comma here and see what it means. It's rank numbers as if the reference list were sorted descending. That's what we have right now. That is from the highest rank, New Jersey, down to the lowest. So I'm going to put in the 0, hit enter, and then propagate it down the column by double clicking, and now you can see the zeros everywhere, and I still have New Jersey, should have New Jersey as number 1. I do. Okay, now let's come in and change this to its alternative, which was a 1, meaning ascending. That'll assign a 1 to the lowest ranked state. So let's propagate it, and now New Jersey should be 50th. There it is. And where was number 1? Idaho is at 50. The reason I want you to always supply optional arguments unless I tell you otherwise is because I want to be sure that you as a student learning this stuff have paid attention to those optional arguments and not just inadvertently ignored them. So that's the rank functions. I'm going to put that back. Now the next thing are the large and small functions. These are interesting little functions. They produce the first largest, second largest, and so on arguments. So let's code these. So the first one is equals large. Now the argument array is the list of data. They're inconsistent here. They called it ref on the rank function. Here they call it array. The real ought to just call it list. So let's select this all the way down to the bottom. And then I'm going to come back up and press F4 to make the argument absolute. Then the next one is k. Now I'm not sure what they mean by k, so let's go into the function builder and see what they're talking about, if we can get some help on it. K is the position from the largest in the array or cell of the value to return. Again, these are not good descriptions. What it means is this. I want the first largest value, so I'll type a 1 here and hit enter. 143,654. So what it did was it scanned this list looking for the highest possible value, the maximum value, and it returned it. That happened to be Kentucky. If I come over here to Alabama just to prove the point and put 9999 in front of this, it's now the largest value in the list, and it's going to show up here as the largest. It's also ranked number 1. So let me Control Z and put that back to what it was before. There we go. Now what I want to be able to do is to copy this function down the column. I can double click it and we'll propagate it down. But look, because I hard coded the 1 in here, of course I'm just getting the same value. Now I could visit this cell and type a 2, and I could visit this cell and type a 3, and so on down the list, but that's very tedious. Instead, what I'm going to do is leverage this column over here. So in the place of this argument, I'm going to point to F6. Now that I've done that, I can propagate it down the list, and the numbers will be different in every cell because it's a relative reference. This points to F8, and this one points to F9, and so on. Smallest works the same. Matter of fact, because I dislike typing, I'm just going to take this over here, paste it in. Notice I'm pasting it in the formula bar. I'm just going to change this to small. Why did I paste it into the formula bar? Because when I do that, then Excel won't do the relative references, and I didn't want it to do those. So that's there. Okay, if you have questions, bring them into class or send me an email. Thanks.